Reaperman here with my second Dell D-Series gaming video, and today I would like to present the Dell Precision M6300. Now I believe this to be the king of the D-Series, the absolute largest machine that will fit onto it. Now there are some XPS machines that will dock with the D-dock, however they're not in the big 17-inch desktop replacement form factor that this one is. In fact, they're kind of the slimmer Dell XPS machines, so I don't believe they're quite as powerful. But that's desktop replacement is really what this thing is. This is designed as a $3,000 giant laptop. This is somebody's only computer. And wow, just look at it, just size-wise compared to one of my standard D-Series that I normally game on over here. It is, the 17-inch screen just completely dwarfs it. And if you're wondering why the same demo isn't running over on this one, despite it being sitting up there on the desktop, that's because, wow, that demo and whatever NVIDIA drivers in here just completely crashed this thing out. It chugs along at 7 FPS for about 10 seconds and then the whole thing just locks up. So I spared you that. So this is here for size comparison only. Now, back when this guy came out, I was actually in the Navy, and I suppose if the Navy would have sent me on a cruise later on in my career, I'd be looking for one of these big 17-inch desktop replacement machines. Obviously not this one, because there's no way I had $3,000 to spend, but Dells are actually only cheap on the used market. They're normally a little bit overpriced new. In fact, this one here cost me 50 bucks, which is right about twice what this guy costs, and you get admittedly about twice the computer. That's a fair deal anyway. You do actually, if you were to have spent the money on this thing, you do actually get quite a bit for your money on it though. There's this, the first thing you notice is this absolutely gorgeous 17-inch screen, and this screen is actually a little above standard HD resolution, so it's 1920 across, which is pretty standard, but 1200 down, so you get a little bit more on the top and the bottom. Additionally, it's got about 3 times more graphics horsepower using the NVIDIA Quadro 1600M versus the NVIDIA Quadro FX 360. I'll put a comparison up on the screen there. It absolutely trounces it. In addition to that, holy cow, this is the only laptop I have ever owned that has an upgradable video card in it. You would never want to do it, but if you notice here that the 256, I've actually got the weakest of the 1600Ms available. There is a larger one, and I believe there's actually an NVIDIA 8700 that'll fit in there too. But I am not going to upgrade this for reasons we'll get into later. But otherwise, for general media playing, the speakers on this thing are fantastic. There seems to be 4 speakers or else 2 speakers with some kind of noise ports. Either way, the thing gets very loud and is fairly clear. Additionally, it's got some other nice to haves. It's got built-in Bluetooth. It's got an SDHC reader over here on the side. That's 32 gig max, and weirdly, it's got a PCMCIA slot, like a big one. And I guess that speaks to its kind of business nature. Now, obviously, this thing's going to have some downsides, and the biggest one is that it needs this 130 watt power supply to even turn on. It will not even charge the battery unless it sees the big power supply. Now this guy and most of their laptops, they sit by and they run on 65 watt power supplies, but usually when you have a dock or a port replicator, you plug the 130 watt in and that plugs into that and powers everything. Not with this one. This one just needs the 130 watt, which is another good reason not to upgrade the video card, because I'm not sure if that 8700 needs perhaps more than the 130 watt. I've seen some big gaming laptops that actually use 2 power supplies strapped together, or silly scenarios like that. But even bigger than maybe its 130 watt power supply, there just isn't a lot that Windows XP can do that this machine really can't do. For example, back in the day, I really wanted to run X3 Reunion here, the demo that's running in the background. My machine couldn't run it. It ran it about like this one does, honestly. It just kind of crashed on the demo. And I ended up buying X3 Reunion. I can't find my box copy, so you'll have to deal with this other X3 game box here. But this thing will actually run it. However, X3 will run on more modern systems, even X3 Reunion, which makes it silly that this thing's got a CPU with only 2 cores in it. It really probably wants a second gen i5 or later. And there's no reason those couldn't be found as cheap or cheaper than this M6300, or even come in smaller form factors. So I'm really not too big into enjoying it that way. The Core 2, this thing really wants to run like Windows 7 so badly, but the Core 2 is really not up to it. So because it's clearly more of a 16:9 thing, so it's not fit for my D-series setup, what I do is I just kind of enjoy it as a big chunky laptop, and I pair it with, hold on now, I've actually been pairing it with this big old 8-bit dough, and I've been playing it right here on the workbench as kind of an impromptu arcade style game thing here with its big screen and nice controllers. I figure that gives me a pretty decent experience with it, so that's probably where this one's going. I don't think I'm going to be buying any of the better precision M6300 out there, and some of them get fantastic. Some of these actually have Core 2 Extremes, which are still dual core processors, but they go up to like 2.8 gigahertz or something refreshingly modern almost. Anyway, I guess that's probably all I have to say about the Dell Precision M6300, and probably my last of the D-Series videos. I can't imagine there's much that got created in D-Series that would be worth sharing that I don't already own. So for upcoming news for me, I suppose I'll get some of that out of the way. My Analog Pocket arrives Tuesday. I got my Thumbie notification today, so that should be shipping within the next month. Steam Deck comes out whenever, and please come out soon so I can stop taking these decrepit old laptops around with me when I travel. But I actually don't care so much about any of that this week because I bought something apocalyptically stupid and expensive, and I don't want to ruin the surprise. If you know me, I'm probably ruined the surprise many times, but let's just say I bought the last system from Atari Games. Not Atari Incorporated, but the good Atari Games, and it is, let's just say, big, and I'm going to have to take a day off work to unpack it. Anyway, until next time, Reaper Man out.